welcome to the Shelley Studio, and today I'm doing a video, it's part of a video hop along with the Art Joy of Sharing Facebook group, and the subject is my favorite things. Can you tell what it's going to be? There will be links in the description box below for other people's videos, so after you watch mine, if you'll go down and check the description box, you can hop on to the next person's favorite thing. I decided to pick paintbrushes because I have a lot of them, so that must mean I like them, right? And I need a better way to keep track of them all. And, you know, when you see them on clearance in stores, I can't help but pick them up. So I have new ones too, which you'll see here in like 2 seconds after I put all my other ones up. Okay, see, here we go. Still in the packaging. Yep, I know. I'm crazy. Oh, and those ones go in my little canister that holds my watercolor brushes. And then the one's still in water. And those ones, I didn't bother to take out of their container. They were in a cupboard. So my plan is to make a holder for these. So I just happened to have this box that felt to be about the right size. I did make it 2 levels because I'm hoping to have one stand in front of the other. And hold taller paintbrushes in the back, shorter paintbrushes in front. That's the initial idea. And I'm just taking some jelly print papers that I have copied onto regular copy paper, and I'm going to decorate the boxes. And I'm sorry, I slightly off screen. I really need to have like a monitor in front of me so I can tell when I go off screen. You'd think I'd know, keep it in the center of the table, but I don't. I just sort of wander off, and I apologize for that. So I traced around the box to get the size and cut it out. Now I'm applying, that you can't see, some glue. I am using Fabri-Tac. I like it because it doesn't add a lot of moisture to the paper and it doesn't warp a lot. And like if I was Mod Podging that down, that would be great. And it probably would be a good idea when you're using brushes, but hopefully they'll only go in the box when they're dry. So I do lay them out flat to dry after washing them. So they shouldn't be in my container when they're wet. That's my hope. We'll see how long this survives. So I made it a little bit bigger, kind of like when you do a book cover. Just, yeah, and then I cut really fast. So that is it. And the plan is to have them stacked one in front of the other. Now, I didn't have enough supplies, not enough toilet paper tubes to go inside. So I have not completed both of them. So you'll just see me making the one. Now, I am getting packing tape, and I'm going to do it all the way around the top edge, just kind of as a reinforcement, and you'll see why later. This might also help in case, you know, a little moisture happens, but there we go. Just using packing tape. And yeah, it's not decorated on the front because one's going to sit in front of the other, so there's a section that won't be seen, so I figured I would just leave it uncovered. Alright, so I've got them both, and then I've taken my toilet paper tubes and cut them in half one way so I could open them up, and then cut them in half the other way, about 2 inches. Some of them were a little bit longer than others, so they're not all perfectly even. And then I'm just stapling the tubes at a little bit smaller size. And you don't really need to do this. You could just stuff them in, you know, cut in half, and just keep circles and just have them be oval shaped. I don't know, felt like it'd be fun to just shrink them down a bit, I guess. So there they are, and right there I was feeling it. Looks like it'll give a little bit if I put something there, so I made some inserts to help, and this is just the back of a notepad, and I'm just going to put in 4 and then put one of these dividers in there, and then 4 more, and another divider, and 4 more. So this way there isn't as much give, and you'll see why. So the next step, I am measuring a centimeter apart, and we're going to punch some holes all around the top. Now the idea of this is to keep the paintbrushes separated and a little bit more organized. Not sure whether it really worked in the end or not, but it was fun to do anyway. So I'm just measuring that off, and I'm going to get my hole punch out. And I'm using the smaller hole. And we're going to punch. And then I decided I can't get the hole punch in there. There we go. That's better. And I'm going to have to poke in between every single one. I figured out a different way to do that, so I don't have to poke out the punch every time, but there. Okay, so once that's all done all the way around, I'm going to take, this is some cotton warp thread, and I'm just going to weave it in and out of those holes just to create a grid pattern. Here I'm calculating how much string I'm going to need to do the whole thing without tying on an additional string. And yeah, just gonna go in and out, back and forth. I don't think I show you this very long. It was a long process. I just sat in front of the TV and wove it in and out. Alright, there we go. So you see how it's starting. So now I've got the one direction done, and I'm just going to come around, and I'm just bringing that string around the edge on the side of the corner, and I'm just going to weave it the other direction, trying to make sure it stays tight. If it doesn't stay tight, there's really no point in them. Yeah. And whether or not they were really necessary in the end is debatable, but made it interesting. Helps me keep my brushes, like where I poke them, evenly distributed anyway. You'll see. Alright, so I've got that one in, and I go ahead and do all the rest, and then I just tie off the end. You can see there I've got the stuff, not quite enough stuff to finish that one. Alright, so the brushes aren't going to stay without something inside to stabilize them. So I found an really old bag of small red beans, and I'm just going to fill it up in there. And I did it just about halfway full. I thought it would take a lot more beans than it did, but I'll just save them for something else. Once I've done that, then the brushes stick in and stay standing up. Yay! Alright, so I'm going to take my brushes, and what I decided to do, since I only got one of these done, is all my watercolor type brushes, the ones that are best for watercolor, that I've used mostly for watercolor, are going to go in here. And when I ran out of watercolor brushes, I put my stencil brushes in there. And so all my acrylic brushes will be somewhere else. Floppy mop brush. But I seriously have a ton of paintbrushes. Way more than I need. But it's kind of handy when you want a dry brush and you've already used a brush to have multiples of the same size, because you can just grab a different one, stick the other brush, you know, you've got paint on it, wrong color, whatever, just stick that in the water and then go for a new brush. I do that all the time and I really like that. So my brushes get used. The watercolor brushes, you don't need to do that. I just have a whole bunch because I've had some gifted to me, and these ones are my little bamboo ones for Chinese calligraphy. Or painting, anyway. I decided that one was going to go in a different container. So I hope you like that. I hope that gives you an idea. If you have a lot of paintbrushes and no woodworking tools and no way to go out and get stuff, just making it from what you have around the house. If you did like it, give me a thumbs up, share it, leave me a comment. Don't forget to check the links in the description box below for the hop. You can see other people's projects and what their favorite things are. And I have a picture of the completed process of my completed brushes here in 1 second. Alright, so the last brush is in. There it is. What do you think? Picture coming up. It's kind of behind other things. I hope you liked that, and thank you for watching.